Last week, we started talking about how much we need our senses and our eyes. And that was one of the driving questions behind the unit.
In our version of project-based learning, we have the thing called a driving question, which we place prominently in the classroom because it drives the unit, the project forward.
We're really shooting for a seamlessness so that the driving question is represented throughout the curriculum.
I was also thinking if you have any other questions about it or any other comments about how much we need our eyes, I could add it to our driving question board. How important are our eyes for knowing where we are, not getting lost? Have you guys been thinking about that at all?
You know, often the vision of a good teacher is someone who can really explain something really clearly to a kid. And project-based learning, in many respects, turns it around. It's the child who has to be able to explain to another child or another adult what's going on.
What are some thoughts you're having about the animal that I sent you to explore in the email?
Chameleons can see two things at once, one with one eye and one with the other eye.
Oh.
But both the eyes know what the other one is looking.
Oh, wow.
If we're really serious about kids making sense, then we have to put them in situations where they are actually engaged in the sense making and they're really trying to figure it out by themselves and not as us as adults coming along and telling them the correct answer.
You should be seated next to someone with whom you're going to have a quick discussion now about what do you think is the difference between humans and the animal that you have and their eyes. Number one. Number two, how do you know? What's the evidence? What's the data? Talk about it with your partner.
So supporting kids in their sense making, supporting kids in taking part in dialogue, talking to each other, supporting kids in building ideas across time, these are totally new ways of teaching.
Would anyone like to comment on this? Put it all together for us, make sense of it.
Because they need those senses to get their food and to survive, and we don't need it.
Could anyone build on that or say a little bit more about that?
Yo sí estoy de acuerdo con Luis porque algunos, como nosotros estamos en la cima de la cadena alimenticia, los otros animales pequeños tienen que sobrevivir para que tengan una vida adelante, y como nosotros somos poderosos, se puede decir, casi no necesitamos esos sentidos.
Can you write some of that in your notebook? He was talking about the food chain and how if you're higher up on the food chain, maybe you don't need all of those senses.
And so part of what we think is very exciting about the multiple literacies approach is that it's always with an orientation to we have to construct the meaning, whether it's text, whether it's a first-hand investigation, whether it's reading somebody else's writing or the data or the explanation. You are positioned as a student to construct the meaning, to be a meaning maker.